thieves. Evil geniuses, it's a lesson learned the hard way. It's a lesson you learn once, and it's a lesson you can put in your own pocket after.
Well, they're going to have to see if it's going to work out. I feel like the Soraka was very good when we had this Enchanter support meta. Right now, look, you're against an Enchanter, but MF isn't exactly someone who's going to provide that super late game damage, right? She's very burst heavy, she want to get that ultimate out, but you don't have great setup for the ultimate with this team. That's why we traditionally see her with things like an Alistar, Leona, Nautilus, these kind of things that enable her in that regard. So although this is going to be a good matchup in the lane, it feels like the Soraka is a little bit of an awkward spot now for the rest of the composition, the way they want to play. So I'll be keeping my eyes on Vulcan to see what he can achieve on this pick.
And I'm actually so interested in how these enchanters are going to play out in this game, especially with the focus on engaged supports from both sides in that second half of the draft. You know what they were expecting. I mean, when we look at champions that have been played so far in the play-ins, Engage absolutely dominates. Amumu 10 picks, Leona 9 picks, Alistar 8 picks, and then you get down and you're looking at enchanters. Where are they? We got Rakan with 2. We got Renata Glass with 2.
Yeah.
It's
a looks in
definitely
there
a different
Vulcan,
world.
you know? He's got that with the Caitlyn, but yeah, this is where I think it's going to be a bit of an interesting one, and it just feels to me like DFM have just a very easy to execute team fight, right? You have the Sivir scale, you play for that late game damage, so it feels like a huge amount of this for EG is going to be a case of, right, can Inspired and Jojo pop off on top side with impact to carry that across?
And a quick reminder to everybody out there watching right now, you can link your league account with Prime Gaming to receive some free in-game content. And I do believe that things like that usually happen even more when we've got exciting games happening today. We've had a couple of bangers so far. I'm hoping for this one to be a battle. Either way this goes, let's set the stage yet again for people who might now just be joining us, who might have missed it earlier. If EG win, they lock a tie with Fnatic, who they did lose the head-to-head to, so Fnatic would have side selection, but they'd play a tiebreaker for first and that free ticket into the World's Group stage. If DFM wins, well then now we have a 3-way tie here in Group A, and things are going to get a lot more chaotic, with DFM then still having a possibility to take that coveted second spot and avoid an RNG play-ins battle you would expect.
And if you want that chaos to happen, well, then there needs to be chaos in the mid lane here as well. I feel like looking at Yaharong, he wants Theo to try and help him out so they can lean down into this bottom side, make sure that Yutapon and Harp are getting control over this lane. Whereas on the flip side, right, Jojopyun gets an early lead, he gets that one-shot potential, he can become an absolute menace in the later portion of the game. And even just getting control over the mid lane gives so much room to Inspired and Jojopyun that have been the mid-jungle to watch out for, not only in the LCS, but here on EG.
All right, some nice trading back and forth here. Enchanter lanes generally mean you're okay just trading health bars as a resource even more than normal because of the fact that you got the heals, because of the fact that the mana bar converts into HP. As Yaharong just going to trade with Jojo here a little bit. Going to pop that LeBlanc passive, get that one out of the way. Both mid laners not afraid to scrap here early either, as the junglers are clearing through their red side quadrants. Both junglers did decide to go for the full clear, taking the Krugs on that first time around, and Inspired will walk into the top side river. If he goes through the brush, Yaharong's going to see him, but he's coming the long way around.
Really nice pathing here from Inspired. Yaharong has no idea.
But Steel does. Yaharong going to get ganked here. Are they going to go even further forward? They get the flash out of the mid laner from DFM.
Great charm from Yaharong there to keep himself topped up. You can see he just pips Jojopyun as he comes over the backline of the minions, so avoids a lot of the damage, manages to flash away, and Yaharong will just barely manage to survive. But this is exactly what I wanted to see from EG, playing through this mid lane and trying to get Jojopyun an advantage.
Exactly, the Inspired and Jojo combo. When enabled, Jojo can pop off. He can be an incredibly clutch player. In order to even get to Chicago back in summer, he had to have an amazing Game 5 against Team Liquid to keep his team in the running to get them to Worlds in the first place. But Inspired and Vulcan are the playmakers for this team. Vulcan is not on a playmaking champion this game. All eyes are on Inspired.
It's just been a really impressive showing from Jojopyun, right? Like, rookie year, goes to MSI, first All-Pro team, and now representing LCS at Worlds as well. And even when you talk about how much he learned coming through MSI, right, from Faker, from Xiaohu, and you can actually see the difference that it's made to his gameplay. We're going to have to see if he can try and enact that roaming playstyle he talked about here in trying to help EG get across the finish line. Impact actually having a pretty good time. Was having a good trade there at the top side of the map, but definitely losing out in the CSD apartment at the moment.
But we gotta keep our eyes on everybody from DFM, man. They got some playmakers here. Keep your eyes on Steel and the Maokai. We've seen how powerful this champion can be in multiple different roles. And you already talked about how earlier, Evi is on his most played with the Gnar. This guy can come up clutch when DFM needs him. DFM can drag North America into the chaos again, just like you were talking about last year. This squad has so much heart behind them. They've been to so many international competitions. They're always about just trying to be the best version of what they've got and constantly improving. You mentioned how last year they made it to main stage groups for the first time. Boy, they would love to do it again.
And this is where I need to see them try and pop off from this bottom side if they want to try and do so. Yutapon has been that late game insurance. You look at the kill share, it's been very focused around that AD carry. Even the position that Steel has had on the map has been very focused around this bottom side, and may even look to try and do so once more, at least cover the push that Yutapon has in this bot side, because if this Sivir pops off in late game fights, we know what a menace it can be even with the nerfs.
Exactly, the hyper carry power versus something like Misfortune that's going to rely more heavily just on the ulti for the AoE control, and they don't have a massive AoE CC ult to really set up for it. They don't have the Maokai, they don't have an Amumu. Jojo, again, controlling the pace of the mid lane, though.
There is one combo that I think EG's bot lane has up their sleeve, and it's if you ever disconnect as this Yuumi, you immediately slam down the silence, and you immediately slam that ult from Kaori. And if those two hit, like, that's a dead kitty. There is no way that Yuumi's getting out of there. And that's why once we get past 6, it feels like Kaori and Vulcan will have a lot more control over this bottom side of the map, because Harp just has to stay connected because of the power of this Soraka in the lane.
I mean, it's one of the only champions in League of Legends that not only doesn't want to take flash, it doesn't want to buy boots. So, not a whole lot of ways to walk away. Speaking of walking away, Evi's trying to get back away from Impact, who had to pop the World Ender there. Gnar also traded back by Evi there as both these guys hit level 6, ready to commit those ultis, trade all the way down to the very ends of their health bars. Jojo just keeps this minion wave shoved up versus Yaharong, and now that means that they've also got the opportunity to have control over the topside river here.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, they're not going to be able to do too much with it. Impact is definitely struggling on this top side of the map. Just the poke that's coming through from Evi.
Yep.
Even traditionally, you see the Comet, Arcane Comet taken in this matchup as well, because a lot of what the damage you're trying to do is that Aatrox is going to be through poke, but going towards the Conqueror here, Impact wants to play more for the team fights later, making sure he has the heal, the extra damage that comes through as well, but it does mean he's going to struggle substantially when it comes to just being able to trade effectively in the lane.
And I think that goes a little bit back to what you were talking about during the draft, about how Impact hasn't looked great in some of these counter matchups. His laning hasn't been particularly impressive so far at the competition. So if you know that you're not going to be able to get the desired laning outcome no matter what, who cares if it's a bit better because of Comet? He wants to make sure he can show up later.
And that's where Impact has shown, right? Like, team fighting, his understanding of the ebb and flow of a battle, like where he needs to be positioned, especially for, well, what was Danny, now Kaori in that bot side. Like, there is a huge amount that Impact brings with his veterancy to the team fight, and is going to bring Inspired to this top side, but will be spotted by Evi.
Yep, I like the fact that Inspired walked up when he did. The Gnar bar was almost charged. They know he's got the ulti ready to go again. It would be a good time for Evi to try to aggressively trade on Impact before his ulti is back up, but Inspired will foil that by showing up at the right time. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Yutapon and Harp just continue to run the show down here. They're going to grab their first plate on that turret. They've got a very, very modest CS advantage. Just want to get this wave shoved up, make sure that one's ready to crash. Vulcan's going to see if he can find anything. A little bit late on the silence, so no way to stop that Yuumi recall in time.
Yeah, would have been really nice too, but Yuumi already making her way up towards this Rift Herald. You don't have the usual fighters that we used to see when Yuumi was in the meta. Instead, it's going to be attaching herself to the Maokai, so not as impressive as, say, something like a Xin Zhao, but we'll have to see exactly what DFM are going to be able to achieve here. It looks like even Yutapon as well going to start moving up towards this Rift Herald, so I'm expecting an all-out brawl, but level 6 for Kaori, level 6 for Inspired. That's the combo EG are looking to play around.
Yep, and you saw mid lane right there with the last trade between Jojo and Yaharong. That thing that you were talking about, even if you get hit by the charm, you can snap back to your previous distortion point to avoid the Q2 of the Ahri. So Yaharong, lower mana, lower health compared to his mid lane counterpart, but Harp has rotated up. Everybody from both sides is ready for a scrap here in the topside river. It's evil geniuses who have aggroed the Herald, but honestly, they haven't put a whole lot of damage into it. They don't feel compelled to make sure they stay on top of this objective. They'll pass that over to DFM. They're the ones holding the aggro now. Patience is slowly dropping away on this Herald. It's not at a spot where it'll just stay there forever. They're going to try to keep it here. But now EG are the ones who are tasked with finding an answer. Very nice engage coming out from Yaharong. First blood over to the DFM mid laner, but he dies in response. Now Evi's gonna be caught. Impact and Inspired looking for the damage. Impact goes in. He won't quite find him. Inspired with a flash away. And Impact takes Evi out. 2-1 EG.
We may not be done here. EG still want to try and keep this one going. Low health bars, low damage.
Jojo gets jumped on, but a beautiful heal coming out from Vulcan. The Soraka bait is absolutely immaculate, and Kaori needs a little bit more to find another kill. He won't quite find it. Yaharong's back. He might be able to pick up the kill on Kaori here. Yeah, it should be nothing stopping him. Just got to get past that blue buff. There it is. 3-2. The fight favors EG, but it's bloody early.
Yaharong will get the movement speed to finish off that kill, but in that fight, great patience from EG. Watch the Gnar bar and Evi. They know that he's already been popped. They're just waiting and now, taking it slow. And Impact again, we talked about him in team fights. Look at the positioning. Great access in towards the back line. Kaori with a brilliant ultimate to zone DFM away from a lot of those threats. And Impact immediately is onto that mini Gnar in Evi, zoning Yutapon away from the fight. It ends up a little bit greedy, where Kaori thinks he can maybe finish off Yutapon, but just not quite able to get the damage across the line.
And here's the big thing. Vulcan died at level 5. He comes back to life with the shared EXP from the kills at level 6. DFM was not expecting to have to play around the wish, and it catches them by surprise. But now, they're back into the river first, and they take the objective.
Steel will manage to nick that one away right from under Impact's nose, but EG now still have push in mid, still can move over towards this Dragon. Inspired though, not exactly in a position, although he will now start to move over. Maybe they want to try and trade this, because you can still see that Steel is on that top side. So yeah, looks like Dragons will be on the card here for EG. At least they'll get something back for themselves.
Now, Sejuani is not the fastest Dragon Taker in the world. She is not a Graves or a Viego or anything like that. So I would expect them to at least send a little bit of help over there, as Steel will walk up towards the top side. Impact, he's trying to play it safe, but not extremely safe. Fires off the chains there. He's not going to get away from Steel in time. Tries to pop World Ender, healing up as much as he can there with the increased vamp of the ulti. He will survive, he'll walk away, but he does have to go back to base now.
And that's a bit of the downside there. You can see not a huge amount of damage on that top side. Like, you're just hoping that Evi is enough with the Hyper to try and take down Impact, but not quite there yet. So
nope.
Impact gets to walk away despite having no flash. Steel has invested the ult. Even you can see Harp as well had already moved back down towards this bottom side. And this is what we're kind of talking about with the Yuumi. Traditionally, what we saw with Sivir in this bot side alongside the Yuumi was Sivir, farm up, hit the late game, but you'd have Yuumi attached to some sort of fighter that could use this devastating combo, but we don't have that.
Oh, swing and a miss from EG there. They wanted to try to dive Yutapon. Steel was coming in, so they try to just go for the immediate engage, insta-kill on the AD carry. They don't find it. Jojo losing out on some trades against Yaharong here in the mid lane. Fires off his chain, only gets a minion. Jojo is looking worse for wear here in the 1v1. Has to get away as he loses his clone.
We'll just walk it back. Yaharong might try and poke him underneath the tower. We'll at least get a plate, because Jojo just can't step up here. So nicely done, but keep your eyes on River, right? A huge amount of DFM members starting to encroach in towards this blue buff. They don't end up trying to go for the invade fully. They're just happy for Yaharong to get a little bit of the turret plates, and now even more with this Rift Herald plunked down.
They want to spike this Ahri. They want to give him all the money they can. Herald's going to get the charge going in there. Kaboom! Takes out those 2 plates. Shouldn't get a whole lot more.
And this is why I say mid lane was so incredibly important for DFM, because you now have 2 kills on Yaharong plus the plates. He's going to get full control of this mid. And now, how do you try and stop Yutapon from scaling? Like, he's just clearing waves like it's no tomorrow. You're not really getting the push on topside either, because Impact is in a bad matchup. So now there's heavy reliance on EG to make plays happen. Otherwise, they will just end up being outscaled. And at the moment, Inspire just hasn't quite been able to find a way into any of these plays, especially to talk about with Vulcan not really able to assist on the Soraka. It feels like he's trying to make a one-man dream happen.
Yeah, he's going to go up top, see if maybe he can find something here with Impact, but Evi's playing it safe. He knows he doesn't have anybody nearby. Their jungler's on the other side of the map. They want to dive bottom. EG going to get dove now as Kaori just gets deleted. Vulcan was top 3v1, nothing to it. Yaharong trying to get away now as Jojo finds a fast combo on him, but DFM are the ones who come out on top there. They commit more guys to the bottom side while successfully playing playing back on the other end of the map, and Evi gets not punished.
Evi does have to reset, though, because he knew there was 3 members of EG on the top side. TP's back in, though, but
Oh, chain 2 connects. Jojo can't go underneath the turret first, though. Yaharong survives because they couldn't get the aggro where they needed it.
Yeah, Yaharong basically had to put himself into danger there so he could make sure that Evi wasn't going to be dove after the TP back in topside. So he will give a good chunk of his health bar, but does save Evi in topside, gives the time for Yutapon and Harp on this bot side to end up getting the play as well on the turret. So overall, DFM putting themselves in a great position, 2k gold lead, and they're the ones that have scaling in hands as well.
Yeah, they did a great job managing plates. They've done a good job managing the assignments, soaking the aggro where they needed to without giving up anything of real consequence. They've got a solid gold lead. 2 minutes until the next Drake spawns. Yes, EG got first Drake. Trading away 1 Drake for a near 2k gold lead early on doesn't feel too bad at all.
Yeah, and the big thing as well for EG is that they really need to find flanking opportunities for fights, right? Jojopyun wants to try and play off of lack of vision for DFM. Honestly, same when you look at Impact, right? Think about that first Rift Herald. It was the fact that Impact had gotten access to the backline that made that big difference. If you're not able to use that opportunity to get vision on objectives, and you're missing out on turrets, which means you're being pushed back towards your base, it becomes very difficult for you to actually play around vision, find these flank opportunities, and DFM can play the front to back that they want to.
So what do we want to see DFM continue to do to accelerate this gold lead even further? They're in a nice spot going into the mid game now that plates are gone and everything, but the game's definitely not over yet. Jojo jumps over the wall to find Steel here, locks him down with a Q2. Inspired wants to go in. They're looking to find this kill, and they're looking to find it fast, but Yaharong's already arrived. Steel gets away. He's not dead yet. Evil geniuses find a Sejuani ulti, and Inspired comes through with the damage.
Huge amount invested from EG, though, to find that pick. You can see the wave still pushed in bot side. Evi gets free time with that top side turret. Does mean DFM won't be able to put the pressure they wanted to get the mid lane turret, because that's kind of what DFM were looking for here. Get vision on the bot side. Make sure that Ahri can push in on bot. Push in on mid to try and get the turret, but unfortunately not quite able to do so as they do get picked off.
Okay, Evi, let's see how much work you can get done here on the top side. Doesn't want to stick around any longer. Knows EG are resetting, so he's going to do the same. Impact farming up back down here in bottom. But yeah, the kill sort of just pumps the brakes a little bit. EG don't get to claim any major prizes off of that. The Drake wasn't ready, but they did show that they were capable of collapsing. DFM is not so far ahead that they can just invade with impunity.
And holding on towards mid turret means they actually have that base of defense, right? Now they can use that to springboard themselves in towards mid lane, start to clear out the waves, keep themselves safe, and still contest this dragon. Again, though, very little vision for AG, and with the later resets, no flank setup for Jojopyun. Impact has pushed in bot side, so maybe he can get himself into a good position, but they don't really know where DFM are, and in a front to back, I still favor DFM.
And especially in a front to back in the river, where Maokai's ultimate just takes over the whole thing. There's still some ulti timers waiting to come back online for both sides. The Soraka ulti critically for Vulcan, it's an entirely different champion here in a team fight. But EG, they're starting up the Drake. Evi has a Gnar bar right where he wants it. Impact's gonna try to keep him away. Lands the chains. Drake's still at about 5k. Impact comes over the wall. They're ready to go. Evi is already down. EG, mark him, and they take him out.
DFM were just trying to do too much on the map. Yaharong was like, right, I have TP. I can use that fact to push in on top tower and force EG to play this quickly into the dragon, but because Evi gets caught out, Yaharong doesn't get the TP in time after he takes the top lane turret, and EG will get the fight and the dragon.
Nicely done there, and this one does have a prize attached. They get to take the objective. Kaori using the ulti to clear out the mid lane wave so they hold on to that forward operating base like you were talking about. Now, DFM, they gotta try to get their momentum back a little bit.
I will say though, with top and bot now gone, this little bastion of defense has seen a few cracks in it, although Rift Herald
is low. Secured by DFM, but here's the problem. They don't have anybody nearby to take the eye. Inspired's here in the front. The damage pours through. Steel is already down. And EG want to take more. Yaharong's not here. His summoner spellbook is exhaust. There's no way to join immediately. Jojo's clone will hang around a little bit longer, but EG, they don't stop the take of the objective. They'll get the gold for it on DFM, but the eyeball expires in the water.
And that's actually a big win for EG. Again, Yaharong and TP bot lane, and EG go, oh, cool. Well, we'll just take the fight then at the Rift Tower because we know we've got the numbers advantage. We'll end up losing that mid lane turret for EG, but as I was about to say, that was very short-lived for the world. When you can push in both side lanes and you've got an Ahri, very easy to skedaddle over towards this mid lane. So DFM would have gotten that. It's a good trade for EG, good forward thinking from the NA representatives.
I mean, if you don't take that trade, if you don't stop him from picking up the eye, they can just drop the eye mid and kill the turret anyway, right? So that thing is dead no matter what timeline you're walking down. Evil Geniuses still down 1,500 gold, but up 2 Drakes. The stats from that is going to make this game feel just neck and neck with DFM. We're getting the game I wanted us to get out of this one.
And this is where we got to see what timeline we have for EG. Is it the 4-1 tiebreaker against Fnatic, or is it the 3-2 where they have to reface teams like DFM? And EG wasn't the best start for them in this game, but the way they're playing this mid game, the way they're finding the picks is exactly how they want to try and continue this one forward. And as long as they can kind of keep Evi and Yaharong in check in side lanes with the wave states that they have at the moment, they can actually look for picks, look for play, get vision, and try and play around that successfully.
Anathema's Chains, first item completed for Inspired. I'm expecting that to be stuck on the Sivir for the entirety of the game.
Well, it's just such a smart pickup from Inspired, right? Because as we said, a huge amount of what they want to do is Inspired, Jojo, pick. Anathema's Change builds up that CC chain, and he's going to try and use it now.
Okay, Yaharong though, it's Ahri. So as long as you just dash away from the Arctic Assault, he can't chain it together with his ulti, the Ahri's gone.
But see the way the Anathema's Change is on cooldown. This is what Inspired is trying to do. He's trying to move it around. Every time he's looking for the pick, attach the chain to that person and extend the CC so you can actually look for the damage, look for the picks, and Evi might have found one.
Evi is looking for impact, but impact is fast enough. World Ender's so good at being able to run away from these situations, giving him that movement speed bonus to retreat back to the tier 2. So we're seeing solo laners be pressured on opposite sides of the map, on opposite teams, having to use their ultis to escape.
Inspired still sitting up here, though. They really want to try and get this top lane turret for Jojopyun, see if they can catch Yaharong overextended. No ultimate for Yaharong means he'd have to invest the flash if he's caught here.
Okay, let's see how long they're willing to wait for this. Yaharong says, nope, I'm not going to risk anything. Minions, you can go. I don't want nothing to do with this. They're still just chilling. They're still just chilling.
Oh, he's getting baited.
Oh,
he's getting baited.
He's ready to go. He does not get caught. The flash is there. It actually looked like that ulti would have gone a little bit wide anyway, but he flashed for safety. He didn't want to risk it.
No, he flashed it. Inspired never missed that. No. He was definitely the flash, all right? We give him those.
We take those. You got the flash. That's what you came for anyway, right?
Exactly. And especially when you got a mid at 20 until Ocean Dragon. Right now, no flash for Yaharong. Kind of limits the playmaking that we've seen him attempt to go for in some of these early skirmishes. It also, again, means that EG now get to reset. They're pushing at mid. You can already see they're starting to try and creep that vision line forward, get it out of their own jungle, and see if they can get impact. Pushing on side, get him into a flank position, get Jojo into a position where he can also look to deal damage to Yutapon on this backline.
This dragon fight is going to be insane because we're still at just a dead even game state. 2,000 gold lead for DFM, but 2 Drakes and the stats that those give is going to make up for that on the side of EG. So that means I'm looking for positioning. I'm looking for flanks and marking when it comes to this next fight because it's just going to come down to who's got the better hands.
I'm also curious to see if EG do go for this fight because, I mean, an Ocean Dragon isn't going to do much against the composition for EG, and they honestly might just go, hey, look, we're just going to all in on this top side, look for the tower, look for pick onto Yaharong, because at the moment, again, they just don't have the vision control set up properly. Yutapon has so much push in mid, Kaori just can't match it, so actually getting into River is tough, but we're seeing the TPs, we're seeing Jojopyun and Impact trying to get into position to get in behind DFM like we talked about.
Jojo saw Evi walking towards that brush with a sweeper. He knew he had to get back immediately. But committing the teleport of Jojo to the bottom side of the map tells me that EG wants to fight for this. Inspired took a little bit of poke there, but luckily for him, he's got a Soraka. He's also got some honey fruits there he can eat, so it won't really stick to him that well. You can see back up to full HP now. But EG are splintered. This is important. If they want to try to make a flank, you got to have the timing right. Otherwise, you just end up in 2 separate fights that you don't win either one of them. And here they go. Jojo goes over the wall. Jojo's in trouble. He's charmed. He's rooted. He's beaten down. He's beaten up, and they get the shutdown over onto Yaharong instead. Mid laner traded away from mid laner as Kaori tries to reposition. A flash back over the wall. A double kill for the AD carry. And the evil geniuses get the better of him.
It looks funky, but Jojo baits them. Dashes back over the wall, and EG collapsed. That's exactly what they needed to do when they couldn't fight that front to back. Now you got Yaharong and Steel gone. Evi's still looking.
Evi has Mega Gnar. They're seeing if maybe they can make some kind of a miracle happen. There it is. He alley-oops two of them back into the wall. They've got Vulcan, but Yutapon is down. Evil Geniuses trying to fight back. Inspired's locking him up, and Impact's the one who's going to deal the damage. Evi wants to stand and fight with his pocket Yuumi, but Harp jumps out, only to find himself CC'd. A teleport's going to come in as Harp takes the damage, but he gets back onto the top laner. Yaharong is back, and Impact has to run away. DFM, come back with a vengeance, come back from the grave, and come back to smack EG.
And Yaharong and Cole will find the dragon, they find the fight, it was close. EG started off so well, but the Gnar and the Yuumi combo bring it all roaring back down to earth for EG.
Huge, huge, huge from Evi and Harp there.
It was such an incredible performance. I love the start of this fight from Jojo, right? Like, Impact is hiding there. Jojo shows himself and goes, oh yeah, you found us, you know, we made the mistake. Then comes back again and just baits Steel over the wall, baits out everything from DFM. Evi can't get into position. Yutapon is useless in this scrap. And again, look at Kaori's ultimate. Perfect positioning here to separate DFM, which gives him the opportunity to take this fight. But as you called it, Evi, once he gets into the Gnar bar position, he's also got Kaori's flash down from that last little skirmish, so he immediately jumps onto Vulcan and onto Kaori, gets rid of the two big sources of damage here, especially alongside LeBlanc already gone, and then it all tries to fall to Impact to carry, but he just doesn't quite have enough to take down Evi and Harp before the cavalry arrives.
And this would have looked fine if not for the TP. Jojo, he had the TP down here being on the opposite side of the map before the objective spawned. It meant an advantage for DFM. They were tracking it, they were ready for it, and then Impact ends up in a 1v3. There's no way out of that one for him. It takes him a couple of seconds to beat him down, but they are going to get there. It's Harp who ends up taking the kill, and that's DFM also critically stopping the Drake stack for EG. They are not threatened by a soul point game state now.
And EG now, still going to be under the back foot. Yutapon has a ton of push in mid. Evi now having that force of nature is going to be a medicine team fight. Will also be struggling against Impact if Impact can close the distance, but it's so difficult for Aatrox to actually get on top of this Gnar. And then even in the side lanes, right, Yaharong, he is so good at just playing sides because you've got the safety of that ultimate. So EG again need to find some way to deal with just DFM corralling them back into their own side of the base.
DFM once again looking to play spoiler to North America's hopes here in the play-ins. They're doing a good job so far. 3 items on the Sivir. This is scary. Yutapon must be answered if EG want to have any sort of a hope in the fight. It's very tough. They're playing well around him. EG's going to have to find some sort of a way to get through that. But Steel on this Maokai, just again, sort of showcasing how much disruption and how much space this champion can create.
And we saw the poll results. Europe is cheering for DFM, knowing that Fnatic will take that top spot. Yes, DFM can beat them. EG looking to try and match that and force that tiebreaker, but DFM last year was the first time they made it to Worlds groups, and beating EG would definitely give them a very good shot trying to make it once more here. Evi pushing in the bot side, Steel getting aggressive in towards the top end, but again, you can't really do much here as EG when you've got so much control for Yutapon in mid, and now he's grouping with Steel in the jungle.
Also, if DFM wins this one, remember that these are 2 of the teams that'll be in that 3-2 tiebreaker spot, so they'll have to probably play again. As we do see DFM in the enemy jungle. Steel just throwing a couple of little tree babies out there. He's gonna find Inspired. Yaharong's coming up from the side. Jojo's found Yaharong, nearly kills him from the get-go here. Yaharong's gotta be very careful. A TP's coming in. Evil Geniuses looking to see if they can get anything off of the mid lane advantage they found. Jojo misses chains, so he's gotta reset his position now. EG, 5 men top. DFM, 5 men in the EG jungle. Inspired tanks the Maokai ulti. Vulcan's gonna die here with the front if he ain't careful. He flashes away to survive. DFM go for it. They're going to get both summoner spells out of the EG support.
I mean, they can fall back to Baron. You've got Sivir here. She does so much damage, even Evi as well, but looks like they're not confident to just fall back towards that objective. TP coming through from Jojopyun in the mid lane as well. DFM not feeling confident to just go immediately towards the purple worm.
But but they have no ultis other than the Gnar. I think that's the thing that's really making them afraid of that. They used Maokai, they used Yuumi, they used Ahri. They put everything towards making that happen. They got summoner spells, but no kills would make it very risky. 45 seconds to the next Drake as well.
I think it's just about how low EG were. It was going to be so difficult for them to test, especially if Evi did end up popping the Mega Gnar. But either way, as you say, Dragon up now. This is going to be the focus for DFM. They get the recess. They should be able to get control over these lanes once more. Even again, Yutapon, it's just disgusting. 290 CS. It's well, Kaori not far off him as well as they've been ping-ponging the wave, but it gives them the opportunity to sneak into River and get that vision control they need.
If this was last game, if this was loud, they would have gone Baron. But here in this one with DFM and EG,
there's a lot on the line.
The decisions appear to be a little bit more towards the safety end of the slider, as we'll see if Evi wants to walk forward here. Impact and Inspired. If they catch Evi, oh, that was a very clutch hop from the Gnar to get away.
Again, though, Evi every single time has been popped early on this Gnar. So, again, EG back it up, but DFM are immediately turning over towards the Dragon. DFM know that they have to use this moment when Evi still has Mega Gnar, and it looks like EG instead will just back away. Unfortunately, though, not really in a position to actually do much as they move out because wave in top was already pushed in, wave in mid was already pushed in. DFM doing good on their due diligence before they went towards the Dragon.
2-2 in Drake count now, so it's going to be, even at earliest possibility, a 40-minute Dragon Soul. It's not really going to be that huge of a win condition anymore, I don't think. It's more down to who's got the positioning, who's got the fights. If you're EG, can you pop Yutapon before anything really starts? Can you pop Evi when he's in mini form? If you're DFM, can you set up for these big fights with Steel leading the way and the DPS just falling in line behind? Who can force the other side to play their game?
But here's the thing, right? As you say, 2 for 2 in Dragons, but even look at the amount of towers that are on the map. You have to not win one fight, you have to win several fights before you can actually get into the base. This is going to be a slow burn and a long one. This is not going to just end in the next fight. There's still going to be a lot to play for here, and it feels like either side could break this game in their favor.
But it is really problematic. I'm glad you mentioned the towers. DFM, you've at least got all the tier 1s down, right? But EG have not taken a single turret in 31 minutes of gameplay, which really just showcases they haven't had a strong footing on the map. They haven't had the positioning that they want. They have fallen behind and lost control way too often in this game.
Yeah, and it's been really tough for DFM, though, because they haven't really been finding those opportunities to use the fact, like, Yutapon has pushed mid. Okay, can we then overload one side of the map and find picks for EG? Like, EG have actually been able to get some vision control in their jungle, deny DFM the opportunity to try and play through side lanes like they want to, and that's what's giving EG the opportunity to hold on. Baron started, though, and because Steel showed, they don't know.
I love the fact that they're going for it. Impact doesn't have teleport for a little bit longer. They know that both top laners teleported around the same time. They know that Impact doesn't have it because Evi doesn't have it. Evil Geniuses thinking about it. Now they got to try to get away. Vulcan's already down. Bullet time of the wall won't do anything. Goodbye. Good night. See you later. DFM gets 2.
DFM are going to be able to turn back over towards the Baron. EG, they tried to move in, they face check it, and Steel says, peekaboo, I'm going to take this one for DFM.
Nicely done from DFM. The call there to go for this. The call to move into the Baron. Impact's ready to try to disrupt them. Could this be the hero moment? Over the wall they go. It's secured by Steel. Inspired tries to get away. Jojo's in the run from Evi. Impact trying to stand a fight and get one back if he can, but he's 1v2. Evi's gonna find Jojo. You have to think. Jojo with a dash over the wall, but he can't be run down. Impact kills Steel. Yaharong might just die now as well. Evil Geniuses clear off 3 of the Barons.
Harp and Evi, the only ones left standing. We've seen them do it once. Can they do it again, Flowers?
All right, it's 2v2. No teleport coming in to save them this time, as Impact and Inspired keep the chase alive. Sejuani providing the CC, Impact providing the damage. Vulcan shows up, a nice silence. They got him rooted up, but they need a little bit more damage. There's your stasis. The Yuumi tries to get away. Evi's gonna die. Harp's still alive. They're not wearing purple no more. Evil Geniuses back to life.
And finally, some of these buildings can crumble for EG as well. The Baron was going to cause them issues. They said no. These towers were causing them issues. They'll say no. EG find the fight they needed to bring this game in their favor.
absolutely huge. I talked about Impact being a clutch player. I talked about him showing up in playoffs, showing up at Worlds, and he shows up here at the end of a Baron fight that started with tragedy for NA.
And Kaori here, unfortunately, gets caught out just in the edge. Good idea to try and post up with that ultimate, see if he can deal the damage, but DFM are too strong. And then, as you say, Impact, the hero in this play. We said, look, laning phase be damned, it's team fights where Impact steps up. And not only did he step up, he stepped on DFM in this fight. Gets Yaharong out of the pick. Immediately onto Yutapon. He is running amok in the backline of DFM, and when there is no front to back, DFM cannot fight him. He's so much healing, and look, Evi is running amok on towards Jojopyun, but it is just buying the time and space. Impact needed. Here we go again.
Right back into the fight, right back into the action. The game is the closest it's been, and it's been tied the whole time, Dagda. Now we've got our 5th Drake of the game about to spawn as the teams jockey for position here in the river. DFM gonna step up. Impact! 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 What the hell are you doing? Impact!
He is out of there! DFM will find Impact and EG. They're running for the hills.
Vulcan and Inspired try to get away, but Kaori is locked down. Evil geniuses collapse before DFM.
Live evil, what they gotta be worried about living. DFM are on the hunt. Inspired will at least buy some time, but he's gone as well.
He jumps back over the wall. Vulcan doesn't complete his back. Jojo's in mid trying to get anything that he might be able to get. Vulcan's just saying, all right, I'll try to leave. That fight sucked for Evil Geniuses. Impact getting caught on the flank. Jojo unable to get anything back on the tier 2 in mid. Inspired just... He's going on the Tour de France. All right, he's gone. He's gone. Shut down over to Harp.
But once more, when it's against North America, the LJL shows up. DFM beat Cloud9 last year to get to groups, and they want to beat EG to try and put themselves one step closer once more. 3 dragons to their name, control of this game, and across the board, we're seeing them find the picks and find the kills that matter.
Beautifully done. Beautifully found by DFM there, getting the pick, finding Impact on the flank to set themselves up for success. Now Evil Geniuses on the back foot. They've got to find an answer here yet again. What's it going to be? Evi, hit by change, doesn't matter. Jump right on out.
Should be all right now. DFM again trying to set up with this 1-3-1 that we were talking about. But Yaharong not in a position on the top side means that EG can overload the bottom side, keeping everything in check. Again, DFM struggling to kind of play out the map in the manner that they'd want to, is giving EG a bit of a breath of fresh air. But Dragon not for 4 minutes. Baron in just over a minute and a half's time. EG need to find the victory once more at the Purple Worm, or this could be all said and done in favor of the LJL. We're going to see here in the fight, right? Impact trying to get control over mid lane. The wave wasn't there, and immediately DFM pounce. They know there is no way EG can get in a position to try and help them. But by the time EG get there, they've overextended as well. They just need to ditch that little bit faster. And with the speed up from the Yuumi, the last chapter as well, able to just pick off everyone on EG.
Evil Geniuses, that was one they're going to want back. But the Baron is the name of the story. Look at the items available here on both sides. We have to take note of the playmaking tools. The Everfrost on the Ahri has been critical for DFM setting up these plays. You've got the Kimtech Putrefier for Harp, negating some of the healing that's been so clutch for Vulcan and for Impact. Impact completed Guardian Angel after the last fight, so he's got that to bring him back to life. A stopwatch on Kaori will also be a big difference maker, as will the Mikhails for Vulcan to be able to save someone from CC. This next fight, this should be an absolute bloodbath. I am just expecting 9 or 10 bodies hitting the floor.
The LJL once more trying to see if they can push in towards groups. This has been incredible. DFM, I mean, they have been the best team in the LJL for so long. Evi and Yutapon able to just attract so many great players from the LJL because they have been at the top of the game for so damn long. Yutapon, 2013, he joins with DFM, and he's been there ever since, looking so good. And now again, looking great against Evil Geniuses. Can they once more push back North America or can EG do what feels impossible right now and find that big team fight when they need against the LJL representative?
Well, the DFM Death Ball has showed its face in the top lane. They will take out the tier 2 there. That one will drop no contest as they go for some recalls. A lot of spam pings around the Baron pit as Evil Geniuses just started up. There were recalls coming out from DFM. EG, they call their bluff. They're saying, we're gonna go for it. Baron's at half. Steel is nearby. If Steel lives up to his name here, the entire game, I would have to assume, is going to go with it. The Baron secured by EG and Jojo. But what about the rest? Can they get everybody away over the wall? Impact tries to dash it out. Vulcan stuck in the pit. He's probably going to die. Yaharong trying to chase after EG. A TP's coming in. Bullet time over the wall. Evi gets shredded by it as he arrives. And now he could be in some trouble. But he slams 2 into the wall with the ulti. Evi gets away. Jojo dies. EG is crumbling. Impact tries to fight. Evi stays alive. EG is aced for nothing.
The resurrection will come through, but it will be short-lived for Impact. DFM have done it. They will move towards the top side. They will beat back EG, and they will once more show NA that the LGL is here to play.
Japan gets it done again. EG make a smart call for the Baron, but they turn around and try to fight instead of sacrificing Vulcan, and DFM outplays them. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like tiebreakers, cause we're getting tiebreakers. DFM takes out EG.
3-2 Electric Boogaloo, let's go! I am set for World Play-Ins, cause these tiebreakers are going to be incredible. DFM, the thumbs up from Evi says it all, what it means for this region.
Huge, huge, huge for DFM to find this win. This gives them the opportunity to still play for the number 2 spot, which is so important because it helps you dodge what everyone is assuming to be a best of 5 with RNG, who most people are like, why are they even in this stage of the play-ins? They're really, really, really good. You don't want to go there. And if you're an EU fan, you're celebrating just as hard. Fnatic just made group stage.